Hi everyone, I'm Tracy Pavone.
And I'm Mike Watson, and today we're going to be talking about the nephrons of the kidney.
Hi, so this is a nephron here which is located inside the kidney, and as you can see here, these nephrons are very, very small, microscopic small inside of the kidney, and there's over 1 million of them located in each kidney. Here we have a zoomed in picture of a portion of the kidney containing the nephrons. And most of our nephrons, about 80% of them, are cortical nephrons, which are located in the cortex, the outer region of the kidney. And then we have the juxtamedullary nephron, and they are actually located a little closer and into the medulla area of the kidney and begin in the cortex.
We have a picture of the nephron, and in this outline right here is the head of the nephron. And zoomed in on it, it's showing the Bowman's capsule and the glomerulus. And the Bowman's capsule is actually a double-layered structure that houses this glomerulus. And this glomerulus here is a bundle of capillaries that is actually causing all this filtrate to occur. In between the bundle of capillaries and the Bowman's capsule is just open space known as the Bowman's space. And located on these blood capillaries are cells called podocytes. These podocytes form the porous membrane of the glomerulus. They have long processes known as foot projections and leave small slit-like gaps which allow for filtration of the blood to occur. These slit-like gaps are too small to allow red blood cells and protein to go through, but allow smaller dissolved minerals and ions to pass as filtrate. Alright, so basically here's the head of the nephron again, but now we're going to be going over the afferent arteriole and the efferent arteriole. The afferent arteriole is a high-pressure vessel that feeds blood into the Bowman's capsule, which converts into the glomerulus. This vessel is surrounded by smooth muscle, which controls the amount of pressure that is being exerted into the glomerulus capillaries. Now we're going to be covering the efferent arteriole. The efferent arteriole is another high-pressure vessel that is part of the glomerulus that exits the Bowman's capsule.
The remainder of the blood from the glomerulus leaves the afferent arteriole, and that becomes the peritubular capillaries, and which are very low pressure porous vessels, and they are made for absorption instead of filtration. They are closely woven all around the whole renal tube, which makes it easy for the transfer of solutes and water. Here on the nephron diagram, you can see the proximal convoluted tubule extends right off the glomerulus here, and it is what carries the filtrate through the tubular system. It coils and twists and turns right into a hairpin loop here. Here in the proximal convoluted tubule, the surface is covered with a microvilli that is very dense, and it also helps and aid in the process of the reabsorption. Here we have a simple diagram that tells you a little bit about what goes in and out of the tubular. And in the proximal convoluted tubular, water, glucose, amino acids, and needed ions are transported out of the filtrate and into the tubular cells and then enter the capillary beds. And at the same time, acid, potassium, creatine, and drugs are removed from the peritubular blood and secreted by the tubular cells into the filtrate. The next section of the tubular is the section which has a hairpin loop, and it's called the loop of Henle. And the loop of Henle is responsible for the reabsorption of water in the beginning of the loop, which is descending, and then the ascending loop is responsible for the reabsorption of salt.
Moving on to the distal convoluted tubule. This is the most distal or furthest portion of the tubule. It is responsible for the reabsorption of salt, bicarbonate, and H2O into the peritubular capillaries, and the secretion of potassium and acid from the peritubular capillaries into this tubule. The distal convoluted tubule then passes the filtrate into the collecting duct. And now moving on to the collecting duct. This is the final component of the nephron. The minerals being reabsorbed in this portion are salt, water, and urea, while potassium is being secreted. Here is where all the filtrate is consolidated and transferred into the ureter to ultimately be expelled from the body as urine.
Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed our description of the nephron.
Goodbye, everyone.